On the floor is a folded piece of paper with the title Avoiding Tower Traps. Do you pick it up and read it? You avoid reading an explosive rune and discover a way past the trap at the next stairway. Hello and welcome to Curse of the Azure Bonds Part 9. We are still in hot pursuit of Dracandros, and as far as I remember, we have to go one level further down in order to catch up with him. Bloody coward. But there's something we need to go and find first, which is on this level. This area is guarded by dark elves with owl bears, and for some bizarre reason there's an icon of a Medusa. Thankfully, one is not present in this fight. So, that note I found before, by the way, if you fail to avoid the explosive rune, the note will say, "Do not read explosive runes," and then take some serious damage. So, yeah. As I mentioned in an earlier part, but it's worth saying again, why not? No harm in doing that, I suppose. I wasn't anticipating to like playing this game or playing through this game, but when I was recording the parts, I actually found that I was looking forward to carrying on with the recording in order to get the details of the story. Because obviously, with games this age, it's hard not to know the overarching plot and all that stuff. But it was still very, very nice to actually play through it. I'm glad I did. It was a very enriching experience from a all player's perspective. So, yeah, just trying to get rid of this last enemy. He's trying to run away. And he got away. Oh well, can't win them all. Some gems, we can take those. I'm going to be fumbling around a bit. I could probably have edited it out, but I have decided not to. So, there's an item I'm looking for. Let's wait down, we don't need that just yet. Feeling a bit like an ogre from Warcraft 2. I'm confused. You've entered a very elegant bedroom. Red silk tapestries adorn the walls. The room is disarranged as if someone had quickly packed. Do you want to take the time to loot? No, it's one some guards if you do that, so no point in doing that. You found a mystical laboratory. The center is a murky, shallow pool which smells of rotting vegetation. Do you go forward? Yeah. The pool looks to be several feet deep, though you cannot see to the bottom. You reach into the pool. Rooting around in the muck, you find a ellipsoid about the size of a head. Its warm pulses faintly. Do you take it? Yes, that is like a dragon egg, which is one of the things that Silk wanted. Either that or a dragon heart, but we would have to afford the dragons to get a heart from them. The stairs lead down here. Do you want to take them? You find the hidden button mentioned in the note, and bypass the spike trap. So, for some reason, a dragon doesn't want to give up its heart by just, yeah, have a heart. So, of course, Silk was very, very friendly to help us. Walls are covered with racks for skull cases. The skulls looks to have been recently something. The walls of this room are lined with books of many subjects, non-radiate magic. I did this more for story filling. You're assaulted by repugnant stench. You see massive chains attached to the walls with huge but empty collars. Across the room, you hear a deep growl. More wyverns, things. Dragon-like things with no dragon-like abilities, but a poison sting in their tail. Yeah. Um, Watching the speedrun of this, I deliberately delayed that to after I'd completed the game. It taught me a few things that could have optimized this playthrough somewhat substantially. Not necessarily doing the duplication and all of that. Not so much duplications. Yeah, well, duplicate. Yeah, something. Duplication, not duplication, kind of thing. Oh, he was poisoned. Oh dear. Again, it was the thief. You can manage without the experience of this fight. But anyway, regardless, if I watched the speedrun before playing through this, I could have cut some minor things out, but I didn't want to have the story elements spoiled. So that's why I decided to play through this game first on my own and then watch the speedrun. I do visit areas just to give some background filling stuff thing. So flavor text, I think it's called. Neutralized poison, by the way, does not count as a wraith death, so you will not lose constitution for being depoisoned, detoxified. Dracandros is dragging a heavy bag across the courtyard. Dropping the bag, he says, "You have dogged my steps for too long. Now you shall be destroyed." Yeah. Okay, whatever you say. I believe you. You're so convinced you could destroy us. Why do you run away like a little girl? I mean, not knocking the little girl. Yeah, it's just a phrase of term, a term of phrase thing. Yeah. Fairly sure he's invisible, but oh, you're confused, are you? So you can't target him directly with spells, but you can target the ground next to him. Doesn't matter. A dust of disappearance, which you pick up from the very first dungeon. If you use that dust, then your party becomes completely invisible. It's basically a very, very powerful, improved invisibility spell, which does not get broken by doing actions. Unless you are right next to an enemy, they cannot engage you because they cannot see you. And the AI does not consider the fact that you could potentially just throw fireballs next to where they are. I suppose it's to signify that the AI technically don't know where they are because they are technically invisible. It's one of those things that are a bit beyond the scope of this game system, this combat system, I guess. But I could just have hammered Dracandros, by the way, but it was much more fun casting confusion down there to see what havoc it could cause. Because, of course, confusion causes enemies to either run away in fear, or do nothing, or attack the nearest target, a friend or foe, all sorts of things. Yeah. But the first about 11 times I cast that spell, I was underestimating just what a massive area it's got. Oh, already? Hmm. Yeah. So powerful. Not overly keen on these enemies being right in the face of my casters, but we'll get over it. Oops, he died. It's a set because he went berserk, he just attacks whatever's nearest, and it happened to be a former friend. Hello. I've actually been considering rearranging my party setup so that my cleric is ahead of my thief, so she is more likely to be in the front line. But if I need her for dispelling, I don't necessarily want her in melee, but she's in a stand-up fight, she's a better fighter than my thief, definitely. And I will use my cleric in melee quite often, as you've probably gathered if you've watched these episodes. Of course, if she suddenly needs to heal and she's in melee and just taking damage, then oops. But oh well. Of course, because they can wear plate mail, you can actually get a quite low armor class on clerics. So they are not necessarily in unnecessary risk being in melee. This is not good. I don't like when my mages are being surrounded. We've got the magic missile. May as well just use those scores. I find that I tend to, in these games, just hold on to scores, even though I've already sorry about that. Scribe the scores, so I don't have any. I mean, gathering all the scores, of course, is to scribe them so you can add the spells to your mage's library of spells that they can cast. But once you've learned learned the fireball, there's no reason to have 3 scrolls with fireball on them in your inventory without being used. And I just, they're too good to use a syndrome. So still trying to learn how to target Cone of Gold. I find Cone of Gold to be, it's described as being a cone, obviously, but it's almost lightning bolt path the cone takes, and it's not super wide, but I just find it very, very hard to target. Maybe it's just me being useless. That wouldn't be surprising. But yeah, well, good old magic missile. People never fail to deliver. I have praised it before, and I will happily praise it again. It is such a useful spell. Of all spells below level 5, that is possibly the one spell that's consistently most useful. Obviously, Fireball takes sees some heavy use, but Magic Missile is always reliable. There's the spell called Shield, which is a level 1 mage spell as well, which will make whoever's affected by Shield immune to Magic Missile, but I don't know whether that's the case in the games, but I'm fairly sure that one application of Shield will absorb one application of Magic Missile. So you would need to recast Shield in order to become resistant to Magic Missile again. I could be mistaken, but whatever the case, especially if any enemies that actually make use of Shield, and of course it doesn't offer any saving throws or anything, so only magic resistance and Shield spell will render it ineffective. So. Oh, those are the fiery beings that can take fireball damage. And Ifrit, if I'm not mistaken, is a fiery genie, basically. And they come from the elemental plane of fire. Never mind. I will take it. I'm not going to complain. Keeping my characters alive is what matters. Of course, once the fiery types get to level 7 for Paladin, 7 for Paladin, and Fighter 8 for Ranger, they get 3 attacks every 2 rounds. So first round they will attack twice, and then second round they will attack once, and then third round they will attack twice, and so on. So that adds a lot of power to them. Not entirely sure why Rangers are one level behind on that scale, but it's probably because of their bonus to giants. They didn't have favorite enemies back then, they just did more damage to giant-sized creatures. So, yeah. Just the last enemy to get rid of. The money. Great. Must be some nice items. Surely. Dual chain. Quarterstaff ring braces. Sounds like something useful. Braces are meant for mazes as such, but I tend to find I use them on my thief a lot. That was the treasure he was dragging away, by the way. Because of course thieves are inhibited by armor. Some nice things there. They cannot do any backstabbing or anything if they wear anything heavier than leather. So I think studded leather still qualifies as being leather. Padded even. Can't remember. Irrelevant. And here on the way out, because of course we're done here, thankfully, I take a wrong turn and fumble into a random encounter, because we haven't had enough of those. Trying to get rid of Dracandros. So, quick little random encounter. So, we have now got rid of 2 barns. 3 to go. And next area is going to be horrible. I screwed it up early when I was playing it because there were certain things I wasn't aware of. But um, by the power of editing, you can make it look a lot better. So this is the way down to the caves. However, you also know the secret passage that will take you directly to the wilderness. Which do take, we need to go into the caves because we got a dragon knight to hand in. Silk steps out from the shadows. Congratulations on your success. I will pay you well for the black eggs if you are interested. Are you? Yeah, of course. I'm fairly sure you only get money for it though. But you get experience for the money you get. So yeah, 5,000 per term. So, which you can't carry. Then take care, Calistia, and carry our mark proudly. The safest way out should be through the secret door of the tower. She slips back into the shadows. And then we head back to Haptooth. And on that note, I'm going to end this part here. So thanks for watching. Take care and see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.